Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Cory Dean. Welcome to the Duelists, and this is Mighty Number 9. Yes, it has finally come out, and I know I am probably one of many videos talking about this, as well as God knows how many streams and how many reviews and articles have come out today about this game, because quite the history going on in just a short amount of time with this one. So for those of you who don't know, Mighty Number 9 released today as I'm recording this, June 21st, 2016, developed by Concept and Inti Creates. I can never pronounce that name right. Inti Creates or Inti Creates or Inti Creatus. Inti Creates. I'll call it that. Anyway, published by Deep Silver. And in case you don't know, Concept is, I believe it's headed, if not at least a main figurehead, is Keiji Inafune, the original creator of Mega Man. And Mighty Number 9 was basically his spiritual successor to Mega Man without Capcom's publishing it. And as you may remember if you kept up with our videos, we recently did a video on 20XX in early access, which is a very Mega Man-like game on Steam at the moment. And we mentioned Mighty Number 9 on several occasions, referencing, kind of joking about how we never thought it would come out. Well, here it is. So after innumerable delays, release date changes, and a lot of fan backlash due to a somewhat shady Kickstarter campaign for another game called Red Ash during the development of Mighty Number 9, and in general just a waning confidence in this game from its audience, we finally have it. Here it is, and a lot of people have predicted that this game would be received negatively, purely on the fact that just out of the sort of poor management of the project in a lot of people's eyes. The Kickstarter was launched a long time ago. I noticed on my Steam wish list, where this game has been sitting for a long time, that I added it to my wish list in June of 2015, and that was way after the game was announced. That was not long after the game was being promoted on Steam, but still a year later before it was released. And none of these things would seem surprising, you know, if it was a AAA big budget game that had been in the works for a long time. But I think the idea that it's in essence an indie game and a spiritual successor to Mega Man with a fairly small team has people kind of confused. And to me, I will say right now, I've played through a decent amount of it. I've beat the tutorial mission, and I've finished one of the stages. Very Mega Man-like in terms of there's 8 robot masters, you could call them. They're Mighty Number 1 through 8, and obviously you're Mighty Number 9. That's your character. But it does seem like the biggest question on my mind wasn't necessarily that the game was bad. It was just the general feeling I had was it's good, but this is what took all that time to finish. And I think that might be what the backlash, which is, you know, coming from a lot of places where I see a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of negative reviews, a lot of subpar reviews. And by subpar, I don't mean like, you know, the modern definition of subpar, like 8 and lower is bad. I mean like, you know, 5, 6, something you wouldn't expect for a game that had so much hype built up for it when it first was announced, that we haven't had a Mega Man game in so long, and here we go, we're finally getting a real spiritual successor to Mega Man, and it's from Keiji Inafune himself, the guy who developed the first Mega Man games, and we haven't had Mega Man X and Mega Man Zero or anything in so long, And of course, Koji Igarashi announced Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I can't remember the name of the team, but the original developers of Banjo-Kazooie announced Yooka-Laylee. A lot of companies started kind of coming up with these spiritual successors that were being promoted on Kickstarter, and Mighty Number 9 was kind of the first one to gain a lot of mainstream traction. Not a lot of Kickstarters had really done that up until that point, so this one was really one that people were super excited about. Everyone was really excited about it, and I think that had a knock-on effect of actually being somewhat bad for it in the long run, because if people hadn't been so worked up and so excited, it might not have worked to this game's disadvantage so much, because really I can say there's nothing bad here. It's a good game, but when you build up something so long and you let people down with just the way you run your company, not even the game itself you make, but the way that you run your company and your public relations in particular are poorly managed, that is kind of going to be leave a negative stain on your game when it is released. And I think probably the final nail in the coffin for them in terms of poisoning the well was the last trailer to come out, which I'll only briefly reference it here. I'm not going to bring it up as far as show you the clip, but there was a trailer to come out which was jokingly showing gameplay with some overactor talking about how cool your character was, saying, and I quote, "Make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night." Now, considering the fact that Keiji Inafune himself was a big anime fan, that was a huge inspiration for Mega Man, Rockman when it first came out, and a large number of people who are into Mega Man and Kickstarter backers loved the anime aspect of it because it went back to the Mega Man roots. And it was kind of I don't even know what to say other than very out of touch marketing. But not that we don't have a sense of humor. I'm an anime fan. I didn't cry on prom night, but I can't speak for everyone. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so let's dive in. As I said, I've already played before. I'll just show you real quick. Very basic options here. There's nothing really out of the ordinary, which, again, you know, this game is not a graphical tour de force. It is not a you know, big spectacle. It feels like an old-fashioned platformer, pure and simple. You can adjust the amount of lives you have, although I don't really know what effect that has when you actually change that. I do know that as I've played this game, and I've beaten one main boss, the way it kind of works is, if you play through a stage and you die, lose all your lives, you get a choice to, just like in the old games, try again, or move on to the next stage. But instead of just starting you off as usual again, it seems like they give you some sort of, I don't really call it an easy mode, because it doesn't really change anything other than the appearance of a support robot more often than it appears regularly to give you power-ups. And I'll show you those power-ups as we go along, because this game has a very unusual combat mechanic that I wasn't expecting. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what they're going for with Azure Striker Gunvolt, which personally I kind of liked more than Mighty Number 9. But anyway, here we go.
This is the present year. Breakthroughs in robotic technology have ushered in a new era of peace and prosperity. Violence is confined to the Battle Coliseum, where robot combatants face off in spectacular duels. Today, the Coliseum walls once again echo with the shouts and cheers of excited fans, when suddenly...
And here we go. Very reminiscent of sort of the openings to Mega Man games. Evil scientists, evil robots taken over by some sort of mind control. The voice acting isn't too bad,
Professor!
although it is very reminiscent of early PlayStation voice acting.
What on earth has happened? It's chaos everywhere. Well, we won't figure it out here. We must make for the laboratory, and quickly. Beck, you forge ahead and clear a secure path. I'll follow and monitor your progress. Yes, sir.
So here we go. Now the main difference. Well, you can't dash yet. I guess I can't show you that part yet. Show you what I'm talking about in just a second. There's not a lot of dialogue. There is during this opening segment, of course, but it definitely starts to go down after this opening prologue stage.
Control in all 52 states. I'm being told we have a comment from Gregory Graham, CEO of Cherry Dynamics. Cherry Dyne, of course, being the world's leading robot manufacturer. Let's go there now, live.
Attention! Attention! Is this thing on? My fellow Americans, in this time of crisis, we at Cherry Dyne would just like to express that this isn't our fault. It's that Dr. Blackwell. He's the one behind this. Blame him! We at Cherry Dyne are doing all we can to help fix the situation. It's Blackwell. Hello, is this thing on?
Avi?
And now let's go live to our eye in the sky Avi for today's Avi News Traffic Report. Thanks, Avi. As you can see, we've got a few accidents eastbound on, well, everywhere!
Mighty number 6! What does he think he's doing? Could he be malfunctioning too?
Alright, yes, so here we go. Here's our combat.
Security bot. And it's out of control, unlike all the others. Beck, there's no other way. You'll need to fight your way through.
So
you can handle this.
threatening.
I know you can.
Look how
Professor,
threatening this robot is.
I'll do it.
He's just ferocious. So here's the main, combat
Did you just absorb the cells of a weakened robot?
concept in this is that after you do enough damage, they start to glow with a certain color, and you have to dash through them in order to finish them off. And when you do, you gain some sort of I forget what it's called, but you gain some sort of it's like a point score, but there's also some other values to it. They can also drop power-ups, which I'm sure you'll see. There's one. That one in particular is actually a health item, which you can use on command. This one is a weapon power-up. Whoops. I gotta get back up there. Oops. I did it again.
That's more.
I was really confused when I first saw that because I was like, wait, what the hell? I didn't,
Dr. Sand is calling.
I thought he was dead, but no, he's not dead. Okay.
What's the matter? What the bleeding heck?
And then actually that percentage too, if you leave them alone long enough, oops, if you leave them alone long enough, they will, regenerate.
Less than fine. Much less.
And if you, you can eventually, I don't know if about in this first stage, but you can eventually kill them without, taking their power.
Understood.
But generally you don't want to do that because you want to get the boost power-ups. So, and also that percentage is it has to do with how fast you ended up defeating them after you yellow is shield boost, by the way. Has to do with how fast you ended up killing them after, or how fast you ended up dashing through them after you killed them. I'm sorry, this guy's kind of hard to walk over. Maybe I should finish up the combat before I start talking. So anyway, let me show you right here. There, that was 100%. That was 100%. 100%. 100%. This one might be a little bit longer. Oops. I must say, I used to be pretty good at Mega Man, but I suck now, and I've noticed that. It's been abundantly clear while playing this game this time around, and it makes me feel kind of bad because...
That's more like it.
But I'm sure after some practice I'll get back into the swing of things. And like I said, this game is actually a lot of fun. Once you start getting into it, it really does get addicting. And all in all, I can't say that regardless of the wait period, regardless of how everyone else feels, it really is nice to play a Mega Man styled game after all this time.
Here we go.
Those health power-ups get a lot more rare as time goes by. Instead of spikes in this game, it appears we have these purple purple electric fields on the ground, which cause instant death instead. And they are a pain in the ass in some areas. They really get annoying.
Tactful as always, William. I'm here, but for Pete's sake,
those were the that guy at the end there. That is one of your helper bots. It kind of reminds me of Eddie from Mega Man, who popped his top open and gave you a power-up. In this game, it can be completely random. You can get a lot of good stuff, but like I said, after you have lost all your lives and you restart the level, those guys appear a lot more frequently, and their power-ups seem to be better, or maybe not better, but they seem to drop more of them. Now here's a boss fight, and boss fights are similar because you have to do the same thing you have to do with regular enemies. You have to dash through them in order to drain their gauge. Otherwise, that red part of the gauge that is missing will come back. So battles with bosses are also sort of hinged like that. Even if you do enough damage, you have to oops, I keep running into this. Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh, my dashing is getting terrible. And there we go again. Just finish him off. There we go. It seems to me the story is almost like Mega Man X, in which the robots have gone Maverick, except you can cure the Maverick illness in this game by beating the crap out of them. I don't know exactly how, but that's a B score. Based on everything. Combos is also like, you know, when you hit a string of enemies and you absorb them all at the same time. It is a really interesting mechanic. It was not at all what I was expecting, but
Sonda,
anyway.
are you all right?
Will, Beck, thank goodness. But where are the other mighty numbers?
Well, based on empirical evidence, I believe they might be suffering from this robot affliction that's going around.
Crikey! It's like every bot in America went completely nuts all at once. Let me contact my brother at the head office in Tokyo. Maybe he can send help. I'm sorry, Soichiro. Please understand. The Japanese government won't let us intervene until we know the cause of the malfunctions. I was afraid of that. but it makes sense. After all, any robots you send to help could be affected as well, making things even worse.
Just to confirm, Mr. Sonda, if we can isolate the cause of the robot rampage, you'll send aid?
Absolutely, Professor White. Anything we can do. Did you have a plan in mind?
Yes. We'll send Beck to track down all his fellow mighty numbers. Great idea! Wait, what? His assimilation ability should filter any irregularities from his siblings' programming. If we can gather and study multiple samples, perhaps we can isolate the cause of the problem.
It's a long shot, but it's our only hope. The fate of the entire country hangs in the balance. I'll finish reactivating calls so she can provide support. Let's get to it!
Beck and call. I don't know why I never made that connection
Not
before.
to worry, Beck. This is well
We're
within
at your every beck and
capabilities.
call.
All right, quit your lollygagging. It's up to us to stop those rampaging bots.
So here's our map selection screen. Just like old school Mega Man, you have your original stage you can go back to if you want, or you have your Robot Master stages. Now, I've beaten one. I've beaten the Waterworks Bureau, Mighty Number 2, Cryosphere. That's the only one I've finished so far, so I'll just give you guys a taste of one or two of the levels, depending on how well I do. I'm not expecting to beat anyone, but just to give you an idea what the levels are like, because the difficulty is quite steep. It might not be for people who are really hardcore Mega Man veterans and have continued to play Mega Man games very often throughout the years, but to people who were fans back in the day and are just getting back into it after all this time, it will test you pretty well. So you get the abilities of your robot masters you defeat, just like in the other Mega Man games, but
Should we?
and also the weaknesses of the robot masters you fight later are similarly strong and weak to one another, just like they are, so that concept still applies. So you know, you never know who you should take on first as far as who's going to be weak to what and who's going to help me out for later. But I haven't figured this part out yet because I've only gotten one power, but I have caught onto the possibility that there is this little sidebar. The good news is that when you use a power, the power gauge does replenish over time, unlike in Mega Man games where you had to get a power-up to restore your weapon's power. But in this game it does recharge automatically over time. The bad news, and I can't confirm this, but it seems like you're limited to bring only 3 powers with you at a time, I believe. Not 100% sure on that, but that's what it sounded like it was. So, you know, going into a stage, you probably should make some sort of at least reasonable guess as to which power is going to be the most beneficial for you to use, or which power might be most likely to be the boss's weakness. Like if you were to fight the ice guy, it probably would be weak to flame, or maybe flame is weak to ice, and electricity is strong to water. Who knows? I just went back. I said the wrong thing. That wasn't what I meant. Maybe water is strong against fire, and electricity is strong against water. So I have no idea though. So I haven't figured out any weaknesses because, like I said, I only have one power. So in any case, though, you also have a challenge mode off here to the side. I haven't done any challenges yet, but there is a challenge mode and leaderboards for because we were interested.
ahead
So
and choose your-
let's just go ahead and pick something out and see how we do. Do one I've not done before, or do one I have done before, and see. I haven't done. Which one haven't I done? I know I haven't done this one. Although this guy looks pretty savage. I don't know if I want to mess with him yet. He's got his little pipe there. He looks like a samurai master. Oh wait, no, he's a sniper. That's right, he's a sniper. And then this guy, I don't think I fought him either. He's on a road. Don't think I've taken on this guy. Yeah, let's take on this guy. Let's see how this goes. So when you get started on a stage, you see
We have lost contact with Mighty Number 4, Seismic. This mine was his last known location.
that's about all the information you get. Explain doesn't seem to help out too much. It's just a little brief overview.
You all set then?
So anyway, let's check out this stage.
System ready? Go!
Okay.
Beck, the last signal we received from Mighty Number 4's transponder originated in that area.
Maybe he stopped transmitting because he stopped functioning. Do you think he might be...
Impossible. Mick is one of my most resilient designs. Proceed, Beck. With all due caution.
Whew, that was close. Oh, right there. Oops. That's another problem with diving through things. You gotta be careful that what you're diving through is gonna be safe on the other side. There we go. Not exactly how this works. Now you do have the ability to do a few other special moves here. I'll show you in just a second. Oops. Alright, that was stupid. Now, to hell with him. Oh, whoops, yep, that's how you screw up and jump right into the electricity. They put those in very inconvenient places in this game, and it's really annoying. Ooh, whoopsie.
Maybe he stopped transmitting because he stopped functioning. Do you think he might be...
Impossible. Mick is one of my most resilient designs. Proceed, Beck. With all due caution.
This area is rough.
That's more like...
Let's do it this way.
That's more like it.
Okay, this time I'm not going to be stupid. There we go. That was what I was going to say. You have a duck dash. If you press down and dash, you will do a crouch to dash that gets you under things, and you actually have to go through that sometimes because some areas actually do not have dangers on the wall as opposed to...
Carry on, Beck. Roger that, Professor.
Ooh, that was close. Oops. Okay, before I get in trouble, I better not do that anymore. When I say I'm that, and then I do it all over again. Man, this area is all... Ah, jeez. Man. this was a bad area to start with. It's all about the damn...
Warning. Beck's transponder signal is losing strength. We may lose our communication link.
Oh, Lord. This was the worst possible area to start with. How about we do something a little bit different, shall we? And now you see how hard the traps are to avoid. Let's do, let's see here. How about, Well, that's something like this. I think I did this. This might have been one of the earlier ones I did. So, this one is where wind plays a large factor in how you do. So let's see how this goes.
Beck has arrived at the tower. Mighty number 6 must be transmitting from the apex.
Sorry to make you climb it on foot, Beck, but it's all part of the plan.
Sorry to make you climb on foot, but it's all part of the plan for you to work harder. I don't know what plan that is. Ooh. Forgot about these guys. Oops. Oh, the hell with it. Yeah, I have this play style. I'm one of those people that cannot leave an enemy alone, even if it's not a threat to me anymore. Anyway, as you see, the flow of the game is very fast-paced, even more fast-paced than your regular Mega Man kind of game. The dash can be used all over the place, and it does seem like there's a limit to how fast it can be used in succession, or how many times it can be used in succession, but it does seem like it's very lenient with how many times. So, and I honestly, here's where the wind starts coming in. Okay, now, here we go. There's no goddamn instant death electricity all over the ground, so you can survive a little bit longer. Oh, I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna screw up right after that. Not yet. Oh, these missile shooters are terrible. Hate these guys. Okay, and here we go. Oops, let's jump off and do that.
That's more like it.
Man. As you notice too, you don't have to be directly on the enemy to defeat it or to collect its energy. You just have to be in its general vicinity, which is really nice because sometimes it's damn near impossible to get to where an enemy is. Sometimes they're kind of hovering in between a wall where you can't even reach them even. So, oh, here comes the attack helicopter. How do I? Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, I'm really stupid. Oops. Oh, I still have a, where'd that come from?
That's more like it.
I saw the health, regenerator. So always pay attention to the items you get. Like me who forgets these stupid things.
That's more like it. That's more like it. That's more like it.
That's more like it. I do have to say the repetitive comments are a little annoying, and when you think about it, man, Mega Man games had no dialogue from Mega Man whatsoever except for the little ha ha when jumping or you know, when he's getting hurt and then he's almost dead. Time to get serious. I gotta use that. Now, how do I use that? There it is. Nope, wrong button. I wasted it. Look at that. I forgot how you use the damn item. Talking about, oh yeah, use that health item. I cannot even remember the button. I think it was right trigger. Ah, that was stupid. My lord.
Don't count your atoms before they're
And I gotta do this all over. Great.
He's been spotted.
One thing I wish you did have is a charged beam of some sort. Even a nice kickback to Mega Man, but Mega Man X, and actually Mega Man did have a charged Buster after a while. Mega Buster could be charged. If I remember correctly. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I thought I did. Even though I really love Mega Man, it's been a long time since I played anything except Mega Man X and Mega Man Zero. Mega Man X in particular, and even more particular, Mega Man X4. That was my favorite Mega Man, my favorite Mega Man game. I loved the X series all around. 4 was my favorite, and if I had to go back now and say which one I'd like to have played more of, it would have been probably 5, because I thought it was flawed, but it was still a really great game. I didn't like the whole the satellite is about to crash into the world thing, and if you die too many times to these bosses, then you're screwed basically in the long run. But overall, the actual story of it was really good. It felt like it was a good, what should have been, conclusion. Mega Man X6 and then 7 and 8, which were 7 and 8 were a joke, but
Please abandon it immediately.
oh, there we go. 7 and 8 were a joke, but 6 wasn't terrible, but I really felt like they're really pushing their luck by the time they got to 6, and just kind of making it for the sake of continuing the series because they wanted to keep making Mega Man games. But if they wanted to make a Mega Man X6 and really wanted to have it really continue the series in a good way, they really should have just maybe, if they had just changed the villain, that really would have helped out a lot, I think, because I think really the problem at that point was that the Sigma storyline had been pretty much wrapped up by that point. Sigma had been more or less, from a storyline standpoint, finished. Get up there. Man, the wind's getting really bad now. Sorry, it's a spoiler. I won't say anything else other than by that point the Sigma situation had more or less been resolved. Pretty much Mega Man and Zero's roles had been finished, aside from there were still Mavericks that existed, because even though Sigma was more or less the main villain, he wasn't the only Maverick by any means, and he also wasn't the first Maverick. If you listen to the lore of the series, he was actually, damn it. Those guys suck. And I'm reminded so much of the Shield guys in Mega Man X with the ball and chain that mess you up real bad if you, there we go. Don't let me do something stupid. Yeah, but the ball and chain guys with the Shield in Mega Man X 1 and 2 and 3, I think, and maybe more. Those were the bane of my existence. When I first played Mega Man X, I was, man, how old was I? Land on the platform. Ah ha ha! Sweet. I think I was 12 years old. At that time, I had never played a really hardcore action platformer, and I beat Chill Penguin, Armored Armadillo, and Storm Eagle, and even that was pushing it. There we go. I need to remember you can dash more than once.
That's more like it.
There we go. Haha. And you know, since we've started this series, I've found it hard to talk and play over a lot of games, but this one takes the cake. Which, I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I wasn't doing much better when I was playing before. So I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, I'm so good at this game. It's this damn video that's screwing me up, because no, it's not. But it is. This one is very difficult to talk and play at the same time. So if I'm sounding like an idiot and not making much sense, I apologize. But you can't help but, you know, regardless of what people have said about this game, and I totally understand it. I really, honestly, totally understand it. It is a very big letdown that this game took as long as it did, because it's a great game. I really don't understand what took so long. I really don't understand how this is a product that took that much time in development to get it out. But I'm not a game developer, so I mean, I can't say, you know, no chance in hell I'm going for that. That was almost stupid to just go for that. But I mean, you know, indie games about this quality come out, you know, all the time, and they're you know, they're not by a major developer and they're not by a major publisher, but because obviously Deep Silver is a pretty big publisher, obviously, but even so, it still seems like really what the last thing I heard as to, oh no, I'm actually gonna have to fight a boss now. Here we go, you get to watch me get my ass handed to me. But at least I think I made it to a boss. Yep, I did. Now you can see what a boss fight is like. And now you can see me really get whooped.
Moments before he fell to his tragic death. Ooh, sorry, Beckham, your segment is getting cut. Local boss at large. Update.
Okay. What does that damn thing do? Is it just a nuisance? Get in my way? Whoa, what? Oh, thank goodness. At least it's hard to fall off. Oops, that was stupid. It's just to sort of pester you into false sense of security.
Local boss at large. Update, found him.
That's it. Well, actually, that was mostly just stupid mistakes, although every boss fight is very unusual, and you can kind of get the feel for that. It's just like Mega Man games, where the first couple fights you're going to be learning what it is the boss does and really working on the timing. Reminds me of Dark Souls quite a bit. You got to learn those patterns, you got to learn the attack strings, and you got to learn how to dodge them, and if you have the right weapon to counter it, great. That'll help you out a lot, which I'm guessing that, you know, common sense would suggest if you beat the electric mighty number first, then you'll be able to use that against this guy. But now, from what I've seen, like I said, if I was to not retire and go to retry, from what it seems like, the next time around, you don't gain any lives. The enemies are all in the same positions. The level doesn't change at all. But you do get more support bots that drop more items. And those items can be health refills, just more extra lives. They can be just your regular green, yellow, red boosts, which are, you know, the green is speed, yellow is shield, red is attack strength. They can drop blocks that just refill your health. Some of them I really don't even know exactly what they do, but because I really
Go ahead and
I've seen
choose
so
your
many
next
different
target.
different boxes, that those glowing boxes that have shapes on them. I really don't know exactly what they're for, other than some of them being health and some of them being power-ups of some sort. But I'm sure it's explained somewhere. But I'm sure you'll figure it out if you play too. But again, it's a lot of fun. That's Mighty Number 9. From the perspective of someone, like I said, I'm sure this is a really hot topic right now. I'm sure there's tons of videos out about this game right now, and I honestly wanted to put mine out just more from the perspective of someone who is just someone who picked it up. I really didn't. I wasn't a Kickstarter backer. I didn't pre-order the game. I wasn't really following the events too much, and so I wasn't really hyped for it, but I was following it enough to say, oh, this is a cool thing. It's the same thing with Bloodstained, and in the case of Castlevania, I'm a much bigger fan, so I'm much more probably biased towards that game to kind of have a good showing, and probably will be a little bit more critical. But I love Mega Man as well, and I can see where a lot of people's frustration would come from to this game, because like I said, the only thing I take issue with in this game is feeling like, wow, all those delays, all those times where the release date was pushed back, and what is it that was holding it back? What was the problem? Because it doesn't seem like, for a game like this, there should have been so many problems. I don't know if that has something to do with corporate or management issues, if that has to do with I can't imagine that having to do with development issues, but maybe it does. I don't know. One thing I heard recently before its release, when it got pushed back the last time from April to June, was that they were having trouble with the online capabilities, which, yes, there is a online co-op mode. There's an online gameplay mode where I don't know if it's competitive or not, but I do know there's multiple online features, and that was one thing holding it back. And I kind of felt like, well, if that's something that's holding back the release, I really don't think that's going to be something that bugs most fans of the genre. So yeah, in the long run, really, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to give this game a negative rating or a negative score purely on principle of, this game promised a lot and didn't deliver on its promises. Of it let us down here and there, and I even heard the statement of just out of pure frustration, there are people that really just wanted this game to fail because of them feeling like the company had done such a poor job with public relations and talking to the fans. But like I said, when you make a commercial taking a passive-aggressive jab at the demographic of the game that you're making, then you're doing something wrong with your advertising management. But at the same time, those aren't things that I would hold up as a reason to rate a game negatively. To me, this is a pretty good game. It's not the best game I've ever played by a long shot, but as far as platforming shooter, this is one of the best I've played in a long time. It's about on the same level to me as 20XX is. The difference is this game is finished and 20XX is still in early access, so I would give this game the edge, also because it is finished and because there is a progression system there. We discovered with 20XX, you have to run the gauntlet. You have to beat every boss in sequence. I don't even know if beating them all once would, finish the game. I think there may be a scenario where it's just how far can you go before you eventually die. So I don't really know, but I do appreciate a game that has a campaign, so to speak, story mode, so to speak. Some people don't. I do, but overall, this game has been very enjoyable. It's a cool twist on it. If anything, the only other game I would say maybe edges it out a little bit is Azure Striker Gunvolt. I mentioned before. Originally, that game had a terrible rating on Steam. It's recently gone up quite a bit to the point now that it's very positive. It's also on 3DS, and it was always really good there. If you have a chance, check it out. Otherwise, this game is also pretty good. I'm enjoying it a lot, and if you don't feel too slighted by the situation that came up throughout the development process for this game, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is $19.99, so $20, not too bad for a game from a publisher like Deep Silver, even though it is a Kickstarter-backed game, and it is, so to speak, sort of a simple, old-fashioned 2D platformer, 2.5D platformer. But the content that's there is all very solid, and it is, from a technical standpoint, fine-tuned very well. So what is here is very good, very enjoyable. So that's about it for this one. I'm thinking of doing a few more videos on my own. Ryan has been either unable or just didn't want to do gameplay videos lately, so there may be some things I'd like to cover on my own. I'll be kind of picking and choosing between those in the near future, but until then, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Later.